Hi, it's Kane Hodder, Jason from Friday the 13th. You're watching Slash and Cast. Keep watching, or I'll kill you and your whole family.
What's going on, horror fans? Welcome to another episode of Slash and Cast. I'm Riley, that's Nick, and one little disclaimer before we get started here. I just had surgery on my throat. I had a tonsillectomy and endodectomy, so if I sound a little off, that's why. I'm just still recovering. We're going to get there, though. Well, today we're doing our top 10 anticipated horror movies of 2017, and there's a lot this year. Over 70 horror movies come out this year.
Oh, yeah.
So it was tough to narrow this down, and then it was tough not to be a fanboy this year with the freak amount of franchise returns coming out.
We talked about that a little bit in last week's episode. If you haven't seen it, there will be a card somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Suggested right there. So go check that out. But here we go. We're going to get things started. We're going to do 3 honorable mentions, okay? Here we go. First up on our list is Resident Evil, The Final Chapter. Now, Resident Evil, I fucking hate.
I am not a fan, but there is a lot of hype around this.
Yeah, there are some huge fans of Resident Evil, and I love the games, and that counts. Mm-hmm. But, like, I'm never really a big fan of the movies. Some of them have really been bad. But I will say when I saw the trailer in theaters for the first time, I was, like, caught off guard. I was like, oh, man, it opens up really cool. And I was like, oh, man, what is this? This is kind of sweet. And then I was like, and I saw her, and I was like, oh, damn. But, I have a little bit of hope for it. I am going to go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, we will.
But, yeah, I hope for the best. Hope for the best in Resident Evil, but I just really not a fan of them.
Yeah.
Which is why it is on honorable mention and not in our top 10. Next, though, is The Bye-Bye Man. Some people might be shocked this isn't our top 10, actually.
January release, so it's already taken a hit there. There is a lot of hype around this.
Yeah.
And that's why it is an honorable mention.
Yeah. If you like horror on Facebook at all, anything horror, this thing has been in your newsfeed somewhere. It has so many sponsored posts, it's insane. But I do think it looks very B-movie-ish. And I think in the long run, it's going to end up failing in the box office and through critics. So, but it's very Slender Man-ish to me.
That's the first thing I saw. I'm like, is this a Slender Man movie? Mm-hmm. And then Bye-Bye Man. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I do think this will be better than the Slender Man movie we're getting in 2018. So
True.
If that's why it's on the honorable mention as well. Because Slender Man has not been done right, and it doesn't look like it's going to be done right. So Bye-Bye Man kind of gives us that little break away from it. Next on our honorable mention, though, is World War Z 2. Now, we wanted to put this in our top 10, and the only reason we didn't is because we know nothing.
There's not even a synopsis. This isn't a poster. There's no poster. There's not anything.
Yeah, there's nothing. It has a confirmed release date of 2017, but we know nothing, no synopsis, we don't have an official title yet either. But World War Z was one of the better sounding movies I've seen.
Yeah.
So I would like to see a second one. If the second one was a case and if I knew more about it, I guarantee it would be in our top 10.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know anything about it. Maybe it gets pushed back.
I'm guessing so. I would imagine it gets pushed back to 2018. This is the kind of movie that you can't rush out in a year like you can those slasher films. This one's heavy loaded on CGI. You got some A-list actors like Brad Pitt. This one takes a little bit more.
But if Brad Pitt, is willing to do a World War Z 2, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, his agents aren't gonna screw him over like that. Right, exactly. All right, man. With that, we are done with our honorable mentions. We are gonna move on to our top 10 list. All right, here we go. Opening up with Alien Covenant. Now, we talked about this on the last episode, how it's another franchise return, and one that we weren't sure we necessarily agreed with. And you're not a big Alien fan.
No, not really.
But I love Alien, I love Aliens. So I am excited to a degree to see Alien back on the screen the way it should be, instead of like Prometheus. While Prometheus is not a bad movie, I think this is going to be more towards what we saw in the classics and Ridley Scott going on. And that's why it's highly anticipated for us. So pray that it's good, and pray that we get a nostalgic Alien and not like Alien vs. Predator 2. That one's bad. So, all right.
We'll see it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely check it out. A good chance we'll see it in theaters as well. All right. Number 9 is Friday the 13th, and some people actually would probably be shocked that it's this low on our list, since if you saw last episode, we have literally every Jason mask chilling here on the table. But Friday the 13th, I still understand it's a slasher movie. Okay, I understand that. I understand it's going to be pretty low budget for the most part, but I am still excited for it, and I really do want to see it, and I'm praying that it goes the way we want it to. Kane Hodder back in the Jason spot.
Please.
Yeah.
I mean, no information about casting yet.
Other than the fact that they have cast it.
Yes. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and there is a chance that it gets pushed back, but it's more than likely going to be good for that October release.
And then another reason this made our top 10 list in general is because we're getting more of an origin story of Jason.
Yeah.
Now, it's not just, if it was just an origin story, it would not be on here, but it's an origin story mixed with the Jason we know and love. So that is really cool, and it's a lot more,
Something different.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
hopefully it plays out.
Yeah, it's exactly why it's on here, though. Number 8, though, is Split. Okay, good chance you haven't heard of this one, because it's been kind of low-key for some reason. I don't really understand why. Maybe it's because of that name right there, M. Night Shyamalan.
I mean, yeah, I believe it's a January release coming out in the next couple weeks. But I watched the trailer, and the first time I watched it, before I saw M. Night Shyamalan, I was hooked. And this looks like it's going to be another Shyamalan hit, even for a January release.
Right.
It's just a really new idea. This guy captures these group of teenagers, and then he walks in. They're like, "Why you kept us here?" He's like, "I don't know why he's trapped us here. I'm gonna go figure it out." And walks away. Comes back later. They're like, "What just happened?" He comes back and he's like, "I'm gonna fuck with you guys." And then leaves and comes back. He's got multiple personalities, and he comes back every time with a different personality, and that messes with your head too.
Right.
They don't know what's going on. Even though you know what's going on, you're still terrified.
Right, exactly. Very, very psychological, very old school Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Which, that's what we're hoping for. If we can get some, Signs Shyamalan or some Sixth Sense Shyamalan feel in here, that would be great. But that name can either scare you away or it can bring you in. There's really no other way to look at it.
I don't know if I'm gonna have time to see it in theaters. If I do, I'll go see it. But I'm definitely gonna check it out when available.
Yeah, we'd love to review it on here. So hopefully we do get to go check it out.
Yeah.
But number 7 brings us to Insidious Chapter 4. This is literally the only still image that we have gotten up to this point, and it looks like the same shit. But Insidious has truly not failed to date. Now, Insidious Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 were not as good as the first one. That's clear. But there haven't been bad horror movies at all, really. Right. They've been entertaining, to say the least. Better than some of the other crap we're getting, like Annabelle and Ouija, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it still is going to, I guarantee it's still one of the top boxing horror films of the year. And with Elise being back, and then we're getting technically another, like, a sequel to the prequel.
Yeah.
So it's technically a prequel to the first Insidious. It is cool that they are playing off the story of young Elise and Elise, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
But really, it looks like it's going to be the same crap we've gotten before, so there's a good chance it's going to be bad, which is why it's so low on our list. And James Wan's not on board for this one.
No, not at all.
Not at all at this time. So that's kind of scary. That's usually he has no problem executive producing or something, just to put his name on there just to promote it. But maybe he's just like, he's done with franchises, know. He's done that, been there. Saw is still pushing forward.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and move on to number 6, which is Death House. Death House is probably the lowest budget film we have on here.
Yeah.
But if you are a true fan of horror, this has to be on your anticipated list. I mean, first of all, that man's in it. Kane Hodder's in it. I mean, so many top horror actors.
Yeah, we've talked about it a bunch of times on this show.
Yeah, we've interviewed the director, Harrison Smith. That's the first episode of Slash. You guys go check that out. Suggested right there.
Yep.
But yeah, Death House, a lot of top-billed horror actors, including Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, Bill Moseley, Sid Haig. That list goes on for like 40 people.
Yeah.
So it's always been kind of labeled as the Expendables of horror. Once Harrison Smith hates that, but it's been down as the Expendables of horror. So it's it's got to be
Hopefully we get to see it on the big screen.
And the reason it was so high on this list in general is because of its originality. So it's why I put it ahead of Friday the 13th, for example, because Death House has a really, really intriguing synopsis and story. So that's kind of why it's more anticipated for us in general. Very cool story.
Yeah, hopefully we do get to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, let's pray.
It'd be great.
Yeah, we haven't heard too much about distribution at this point.
No.
But it is confirmed for this year, so let's hope. But if it goes to VOD, I'm okay with it. Hell, that's a faster release for me. That's fine.
Maybe we'll get Harrison Smith back on.
True, we need to talk to him again.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to number 5, being the Belko Experiment. This one caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Because we just learned about this one recently. And the Belko Experiment, it kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. It's very, I don't know, it's like Saw-like to a degree.
Yeah.
It's like these people, like over 60 employees, are trapped in this airport by somebody just, they don't even know. They when they hear the voice from time, it's like, is that Jesus? You know? So they get trapped down, and they're saying that 30 people need to be dead within a certain time limit. If not,
Well, yeah, at first it was like, if you don't kill 3 of your coworkers, we're going to kill 6. And then I don't think they kill anybody, or the coworkers kill anybody. And then all of a sudden, one of their guys' heads just explodes while they're all around. And they look and they're like, it exploded from the inside.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a sniper or anything. Then, it goes on, you're not listening to us. Now 20 people need to be dead, or we're going to kill 40 of you, stuff like that. And it just keeps going on and on. They get outside, they see these almost like soldiers.
Yeah.
And they put down a sign that
like,
said,
hey,
we're being held hostage. And then they get shot at. They're getting shot at by them. That really threw me for a loop.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a really cool and unique idea.
Yeah.
And the idea of, like, I think it's cool to think about what you would do in that situation. Like, man, 30 people need to be dead, or 60 of us die. Do I go ahead and start killing people,
I mean, yeah, the one guy, I believe it's probably the main character, said, I got to go home to my wife and kids. And he cocks the pistol. So who knows what he's doing, if he's going after them, if he's going to go kill some of his coworkers. Yeah, great concept, though.
Yeah, it really is. That's why it is so high on our list. Number 4 is a slasher film, but there's something very special about this one, okay? Halloween is returning this year, and was picked up by Blumhouse, which is also a big deal. Okay, with that name right there is exactly why it's so high on our list. John Carpenter has returned to produce Halloween this year, and that's a pretty big deal, okay?
Now, there is very little information on this, and as we talked about in our last episode, it's probably more likely than not going to be pushed back to 2018.
True. But, I mean, they technically have locked a script, they technically have locked a director, and then they have him. They got him, and these movies can push out quickly, okay? So this one's that can be done in like 5 months. They can write it, shoot it, edit it, release it within that time frame. And so that's why this one makes more sense to me than World War Z 2.
Right.
So,
but another reason it may be pushed back, we talked about in the last episode, it would be competing with Friday the 13th at the box office. And, it'd be great. As a horror fan, we said it'd be great to, see these two franchises battle it out for the first time in theaters. But they would make more money separately on different weeks.
yeah, they know that.
Yeah. That's another reason why it's probably going to be pushed back.
Yeah, but we have faith. Really hope to see it this year, and it'd be cool to see both Friday the 13th and Halloween in theaters at the same time for the first time in like 30 years. So.
Oh, yeah.
But moving on to number 3 is Rings. Rings is technically another franchise return to a degree. Rings is, usually I wouldn't put something like this because it's obviously not an original idea per se. But the thing is, taking that story, which was a very crazy Japanese original story, and then applying that to modern day technology, or at least more modern day technology, because the Ring wasn't that old. But applying that chainmail type premise into it is really interesting to me. And the way this thing has been boasted up, you got to have high faith for it. Hopefully they can't go wrong. It had a pretty impressive budget, so you would think that they got something going here for Rings, and it will exceed, or like is to see in theaters.
Yeah, we just got the second trailer. I believe just a couple days ago is when it released, and it looks very good.
Right, a well-edited trailer, one of the few well-edited trailers in horror, so that's really cool to see, too.
Don't give us any more.
Yeah, seriously, don't. We got enough.
It was good.
We got enough. That's all we need.
Yeah.
All right, though. Number 2, Stephen King's It is being remade. And this was the first look we got at Pennywise. And this is pretty much all we've gotten.
Yeah, every month we get, here's what's new with It, another picture of Pennywise. And, I'm okay with that at the moment. He looks great.
Yeah, very clean cut.
Yes.
Which is, we talked about many times. We thought he was going to be like very over the top and bloody out of the mouth and super monstrous clown. But we got a very clean cut and creepy as hell Pennywise.
Yeah.
So faith is there. It is really high on our list, but it's one of the highest anticipated films in general.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely deserves to be this high. And then it's definitely one of, I don't know, it's tough to put a remake this high because we are known for bashing remakes all of the time. But this is just one that I think with such an open story like it, it has a really good chance of excelling in theaters. So let's pray.
We're checking that out. 100%.
100%. We're moving on to number 1, though. And this is technically horror, but technically can be considered not. But its number 1 genre is horror, and that is Kong, Skull Island. Look at that freaking thing. Look how big
so
he
cool.
is. Now, a lot of people are like, dude, he's too big. He's too big. I disagree.
Make it bigger.
Yeah, make it bigger.
I mean, as you can see in this picture, he's almost covering the entire sun. That's insane. In the trailers, you see him whipping helicopters around. They're nothing.
Yeah. It's insane. You see him walk through the water in the one trailer, and his foot, his toe is like the size. It can crush a human, his little toe.
Oh my god! It's definitely we've definitely been anticipating this since it was originally announced.
Yeah, since even that first trailer came out, and it was like, holy crap, this is not what I expected. This looks impressive, and one of the reasons he's so big is because of Godzilla. Guaranteed a Godzilla versus Kong movie is coming, and that's why they needed to have at least 100-foot Kong.
Right.
But I am not upset at all. I think it's so cool and it's so much scarier. That thing could do anything to you, man.
I'm really excited to see how this movie is going to end. If they're going to kill him, if they're going to stun him, if they're going to take him away, capture him. I don't know.
Well, they definitely can't do the original King Kong thing and put him on like the Empire State Building because that dude's as tall as the damn thing.
Yeah, definitely that big for the Godzilla fight. That's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, for sure. So I think this would be a great thing to lead us into that.
Yeah.
Especially we're getting another Godzilla film, technically, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it looks like it's definitely it's gonna be like the summer blockbuster hit in general. So it's definitely gonna hit huge in the horror genre, which is something the horror genre really needs at this time. So I'm glad Kong is coming this year. But yeah, man, that's the end of our list. What do you think? Do you guys think differently? Go ahead and tell us in the comments. But all around, it looks like a pretty good year for horror. It's a great year for films in general. So we're hoping for a lot. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, make sure you go check out our other YouTube channel at youtube.com/RJL Productions Extras. That is where you'll find the MWM Project, is our other podcast that covers all movies, all television, and all video games. And make sure you go check out the Facebook at facebook.com/RJL Productions, and of course Twitter at twitter.com/RJL_Productions. All there. That's where you'll find all our videos. You can also head over to rjproductions.net, join our email notification list, and never miss a video again. Super easy. Go. Put the email, notify me, done. And you'll never miss a video again. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.